We're always excited for Monday. It's a brand new week. It's time to have some fun. Beautiful day outside. It's a holiday too. So I hope everybody's enjoying that holiday. Hope everybody got some good barbecue, but also keeping that social distancing rules to intact, But let's get together. Let's go and get together. Dennis, how was your weekend, man?
My weekend was pretty good this weekend. Shout out to everybody who's enjoying their holiday, getting that good barbecue in. Also want to give a shout out to the OnPoint Network for giving us an opportunity.
For sure. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So just to give an overview, guys, it's going to be we're gonna split the show up into two different sections. Our first section is gonna be college football. Next section is gonna be NBA. We're gonna start off with college football first. So let's get into it. So Dennis, you sent me a list. I don't know if this was ESPN's way too early top 25 or somebody else's. Yeah. But you sent me a list though with somebody's way too early top 25 list. I thought it was pretty. Top two teams weren't surprising, but I'll read it off to you, everybody, to the teams as far as such. So at 1 they had Clemson, 2 Ohio State, 3 Alabama, 4 LSU, 5 Georgia, 6 Florida, 7 Oklahoma, 8 Notre Dame, 9 Penn State, 10 Auburn, 11 Michigan, 12 Oregon, 13 Wisconsin, 4 Texas A&M, 15 Utah, 16 Texas, the Texas Longhorns, 17 Iowa, 18 Washington, 19 Tennessee, 20 University of Kentucky. I'm tooting my own horn. I got both of my teams in there. 21 Baylor, 22, Memphis 23, 24 is USC, and then 15 is Mississippi State. Now, first thing I realized on this list that literally teams 3 through 6 are SEC teams. But was there anybody on this list though that like surprised you that they were on this way too early top 25 list as far as such? Any surprises?
Michigan is one. My Tennessee Volunteers is another one.
Why do you have Michigan up there as a surprise, if you don't mind me asking?
Because they just lost their quarterback, so we don't know. We don't know what we getting out of Christian McCaffrey's brother. I think there's Dolan McCaffrey. Don't give me that. Make sure I say his name right. I think it's Dolan McCaffrey.
I think it's yeah. But so
not to mention they really ain't did nothing in the Big Ten anyway.
They haven't, and I agree with you on that. That's something we can agree on.
When they had all those weapons, they ain't doing in the Big Ten. So I'm trying to figure out what makes them number 11 now.
So I will say that their defense is still intact, and they did get a lot of good recruits. Here's the thing, though, as far as such that we have to look at to an extent, is that they never had really a good quarterback anywhere. I mean, yeah, they lost Shea Patterson, but was he? I know you're very high on Shea Patterson too. So don't.
Yeah, Shea, that's my cousin. My cousin Shea.
Yeah, like I get it, but let's be honest here. He wasn't that great. Whether it was the coaching staff there, but he just, or whether it was him not developing to the extent he was supposed to develop to, or maybe it was both. But he wasn't that great. So if we're being quite honest here, so we have to think about that. I think if they can actually, because they do still have their running back that's coming back, and they really like Harbaugh in college likes to rely on his running game. So if their running back, if they can just get like a two-headed monster running back, and their defense steps up, I can see them winning 9 games. I mean, I can see it. Number 11, I think is I mean, they had, like I said, they had a good recruiting class, so I can see them being at number 11. And then you said Tennessee, right? You said
my Tennessee Volunteers, yes. I'm happy that they're there, but in all honesty, no, we wasn't that good.
Let me ask you, why is that though? See, now I'm kind of confused on that one too. Why is that?
To be 19th? Nah, I don't think so. I think we need another year. We need one more year. Our quarterback play has been terrible since Josh Dobbs left. And I mean, he wasn't great, but he was good. He was good at the time, but he wasn't great. But the fact that he used his feet made him a multi-dimensional quarterback.
I mean, so when we looking at these lists too, we got to factor in the fact that y'all recruiting classes too. Now I do agree.
See, I don't always agree with the recruiting class.
But you guys did have a good recruiting class. You guys been killing in recruiting even still to this year, still currently. Now, granted, you guys have had recruiting classes that just haven't done literally anything. So, I mean, I do get what you're saying to that extent. I do think you guys will have a better season than usual. That's why I said 19 right now. This is a beginning season ranking. So I think 19 at the moment, I think that is a pretty good ranking. You don't think 19 is a good ranking for you guys?
I'm gonna accept it. Let me just say that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, you can't not accept it. I mean, I would hope that you do accept it. All right, Notre Dame. Notre Dame is always high up in the rankings, and honestly and truthfully, usually doesn't do anything. But once again, you have to factor in the recruiting class, which was pretty decent. But once again, we don't trust Notre Dame. A lot of people don't trust Notre Dame. Let me not say we don't, because I don't want to generalize anything for everybody else. I don't trust Notre Dame as far as such, and they always seem to blow the bag. And it's usually that case. It hurts them when they don't play in the conference either, but they do have a tough schedule. They've always had a tough schedule, so I don't like when people say they don't have a tough schedule.
They do.
They have a tough schedule. They like literally every single year they have tough schedules. I just don't know what happens from them playing in the regular season, because they'll have good records in the regular season and they make it to the playoffs or the championship game and they get crushed. And sometimes they play SEC teams in the regular season, but they still get crushed when they play against certain teams. But I do think there's a couple teams that I do feel like should be higher than them. I feel like Oregon should be definitely higher than them. I was surprised that they were at 12 on this list. I think Oregon, by second week, should be higher, and then LSU too. LSU losing Joe Burrow is gonna hurt them. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest here. When you lose a factor like that, that's gonna hurt. So I definitely think that LSU's up there way too high too. To have them at number 4, I understand they're the defending champs, but with no quarterback there, I mean, what are we really talking about here? We don't know what's gonna happen. Right. So I'm kind of wary about that too with them. I'm interested to see how Wisconsin does too with them losing Jonathan Taylor, even though we all know that they make college running backs a lot though. Like, so they probably have somebody sitting back there ready to go, and ready to go ahead and feast. Any other teams that you feel like were too high?
Probably Minnesota.
You think Minnesota's too high? Why is that?
Minnesota. This is the first time I actually paid attention to Minnesota actually being in the top 25. This early. Usually they got to work their way into it. So this is the first time I actually paid attention to it. But Minnesota was another just a little surprising team. Everywhere else, I see like they may have lost a quarterback, but they had a good backup, like Bama, like Oregon, like Penn State. And like I said, I've been paying attention to these teams.
So I think with Minnesota, you got to go off of last year, and that's what they're basing off of is last year. So I think
in the recruiting class, yeah.
Yeah, and then they had a good year last year. I mean, who did they beat? Did they win their bowl game last year? I think they did. But we have to. I think that's really what it's going off of, though, as far as such that they're basing it off of last year, as far as such. So, I feel like at the end of the day, that's the reason why they got that nod. Like they got that nod right there at that spot. But I'm okay with every other spot. I think Florida is going to have a good season. So having Florida right there at that spot, at number 6, I think is a worthy spot for them. Georgia at 5. I actually think Georgia might win the SEC this year, depending on how Mac Jones play. But we shall see. But like I said, only other team I would just take out of there is LSU. I think LSU is not going to have a horrible season. They're not going to have a season that they had last year, but they'll still be good, though, for sure.
Okay.
I definitely know that. So, moving on, though. So we're we had another picture as far as us for position battles, and I'm pretty sure that's what it was that you had sent. It was position battles for the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And I'll go, and I'm guessing it's for this upcoming season. So what they said was, and this what out of the Big Ten, these are the out of these colleges own these positions in this year coming up. Quarterback, they had Ohio State. Running back, they had Penn State. Wide receiver, Minnesota. Tight end, Penn State. Offensive line, Wisconsin. D-line, Ohio State. Linebackers is Penn State. Cornerback, Ohio State. Safety is Wisconsin. Now, I tend to think this is talking about all time, though. I'm going to think that it's talking about all time, maybe not the season coming up.
They talking about all the time. I can't think of too many running backs that came from Penn State.
That's what I'm about to say. So if they are talking about all time, then I'm kind of confused because there's not too many running backs out of Penn State that's actually very good. I would actually probably give that spot to two and all.
I only can think of three right now.
Huh?
I only can think of three.
What's the three you're thinking of? Because you're probably thinking of that same three.
LJ, Larry Johnson, Saquon Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
Larry Johnson, Saquon Barkley, and what's the one play for my team right now? I can't even think of his name.
Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders.
Yeah. So no, I don't know about that one. I'm let's go off the fact that they're probably talking about all the time. If that's the case, though, I will probably do some switching on this list. I feel like running back, I would probably give it to Wisconsin or Ohio State.
Right.
Wisconsin's has some running backs that came out. They produce a lot of running backs. All of them
from Michigan.
Huh?
Who was the wide receiver from Michigan?
From which one? You said Michigan?
Yeah.
Well, the wide receivers was Minnesota.
I'm not from Minnesota. I'm sorry, Minnesota. I mean, it's in Michigan.
I'm not for sure. And that's why I said I think they might be going off of right now because the only reason why I'm saying that is because Minnesota's wide receivers haven't been that good, but they are good this year. So
that makes sense because Ohio State quarterback. That don't make sense.
They're talking about right now. So let's do that. So quarterback is Ohio State. I think we agree on that, right?
Thanks, Kellen. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely agree on that, right? So running back, they got Penn State. What's your thoughts on that one?
I haven't seen a running back from Penn State, so I wouldn't be able to know. I have seen the linebackers from Penn State. They came to ball.
The linebackers are definitely Penn State.
Penn State's always been a linebacker, so.
Offensive lineman is Wisconsin, that's for sure, and I'll keep that there.
Always, yeah.
Defensive line is Ohio State. I'll keep that the same. And cornerbacks, I'll keep Ohio State for there, too. Only question I have on this list, honestly and truly, is the wide receiver position with Minnesota there. I do feel like Ohio State has better wide receivers than Minnesota. Minnesota did just get one of the best wide receivers in the nation, but so did from the recruiting class, but so did Ohio State to go on top of all their other wide receivers that they had. They got three wide receivers in the three top recruit wide receivers in the nation, but to go on top of what they had already with Garrett Wilson, who was a monster last year as a true freshman, Chris Olave, people like that. So I would probably give that nod to Ohio State right there too. Safety position, they gave it to Wisconsin. I can see that too. Okay. Any discrepancies in that list?
No, I ain't no discrepancies. Everything good.
Okay. Let's So our next one is Zeke versus. So basically, I was if Jerry, you're watching. me and Jared were talking on the best best running backs from last decade, and I had made a comment. I said Zeke. He said Christian McCaffrey. I want to hear your take on it. And or is it somebody else you feel like from the last decade? Who do you feel like was?
I'm more into Christian McCaffrey, man. I love Christian McCaffrey. I really love Christian McCaffrey. Like that's really my guy. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is really my guy. Like everything that he was doing. Like you got to remember, he was on kickoff and punt return. You know, he was the running back. He was catching more passes than a wide receiver. Like that is really my guy, Christian McCaffrey. Now, I like what Ezekiel Elliott did, but I think Christian McCaffrey had a better season.
So, and this is talking about college career too. I do get that. Christian McCaffrey was great. I mean, great player, great in every aspect as far as such. But here's the thing that comes down to it to me. Christian McCaffrey didn't play his last bowl game, which I understand why he didn't. I get it. I mean, I wouldn't have either. I mean, why risk myself being injured? Also, too, we made the argument that Christian McCaffrey didn't play with anybody on Stanford, but his Stanford team was decent. It wasn't the best, but it was definitely decent. And I will say that Zeke played with the better team. But we're talking about a pure runner here. And I would be remiss if I didn't act like that Zeke wasn't carrying that Ohio State team for the last 3 games of the regular season. And I mean, the last game to the regular season into the college football playoffs, into the championship.
About that loaded Ohio State team?
It was loaded, and I get it.
And that Christian McCaffrey Stanford team that was just Christian McCaffrey?
It wasn't just Christian McCaffrey. We're not going to stop it.
Who came into the game? Who gave you nightmares?
This is just as bad as y'all keep saying that Panthers team is just Christian McCaffrey. When they had the fourth or fifth best receiving yard wide receiver in the league last year.
And they went through 3 quarterbacks.
Okay, so let's not say it was just Christian.
I think you just got some hate on Christian McCaffrey here.
It's not. Everyone knows that.
I have to say this on the OnPoint network. Is there hate for Christian McCaffrey?
No. Everyone knows that I say Chris McCaffrey is the best running back in the league right now. So let's not say there was hate. But this is like, I feel like this is like, for instance, you guys are giving Christian McCaffrey too much credit. Like, too much credit. He also was a part of a couple games that they lost last year. He probably lost 2 games for them last year, especially when Cam was playing, where, one, he didn't fight for extra yardage on that one play. I don't know if you remember that at the beginning.
That was a dumb play. Why would you go outside?
You got too much dip in your chip. Hold on, wait a minute. But we do remember that he didn't fight for that extra yards. Dumb play or not.
I wouldn't say – I just thought the play was dumb. The play calling was dumb on that.
Come on, Dennis.
Don't give him for Norv Turner to be a play caller for almost 25 years, probably 30, to be honest. But I'm just going to say 25. It's probably been 30 years. That play should have never came out of your playbook.
It shouldn't have, but I agree with you. But guess what?
I understand that Cam was injured, so you ain't want to put him in a predicament to fight for that 1 yard. I get it. I understand that. But that's not the play you do.
Dennis, guess what? It came up. So guess what? When it came up, you have to capitalize on that opportunity. And what did he not do, Dennis? This answer that question. What did he not do?
He did not get the 1 yard. Okay.
He didn't get to the 1 yard line. So guess what?
Okay.
He was a part of that loss right there, right? It was another game that he fumbled too. I remember that it was like late in the game that we're not going to talk about. So the 4 games that they won this year, was it 4 or 3, right?
No, I think they won like 6, didn't they?
Okay, was it 6?
Yeah.
So those 2 games could have been 8 if he would have did his job too a little bit more.
Here you go. Oh my!
I'm just saying.
Woo! Somebody get my access. Somebody get the lights on. I got to spray with this access heat right here.
I'm just saying.
Somebody get the lights on. We got to spray with this access heat. Ciao.
That could have been the 2 extra games.
Okay.
So us.
No. You want to do it? Let's do it. Let's do it.
Wait. So,
we petty chat. Come on, let's do it.
Hold on. So us saying that Stanford didn't have a team, and it's just like saying that he didn't have a team this year, which I agree. They didn't have a quarterback, and I agree with you to the fullest extent. They went through 3 different quarterbacks from Cam Newton to, what was the guy's name? Kyle Allen. Like, they didn't have any quarterback, but they did have 2 good – well, 1 good wide receiver and 1 decent wide receiver. They also had Greg Olsen still, and they also The offensive line was pretty bad. Well, it was decent. I'm not gonna say it was bad. It was decent, and their defense was still intact. So let's not say he was just there by himself. I don't like that narrative. Just the same with Stanford. Stanford had a good offensive line. Stanford had decent wide receivers. Quarterback wasn't the best. I'll give it to you, but let's not say that he was there by himself. Yes, Ohio State team was stacked, and like I said, I'll give you that. But Zeke still carried them to the national championship. And as far as I see it, Christian McCaffrey didn't even win a bowl game while he was there, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe he won one, but I know for sure he didn't win two. I know for sure that Zeke won a national championship, and he was the reason why. Can we agree on that?
We ain't agreeing on that right now.
Can we agree on that?
We're good on Zeke with the loaded team. Yeah, he did win a national championship.
Can we agree that he was the reason that they won the national championship?
Mm-hmm. Loaded team Zeke, yes he was.
I mean, loaded team or not, have you seen anybody else rush for 200 yards 3 games back to back?
No.
Against everybody's precious Alabama team too, to make that clear, and against a Wisconsin team that was only lost 1 game in the season that had Melvin Gordon that everybody was raving about, and then against Marcus Mariota, your boy Marcus Mariota, and that team that was supposed to beat Ohio State too. Odds were stacked against them. They had Cardale Jones at quarterback, who wasn't a good quarterback either. So if we're talking about quarterbacks, they didn't have a good quarterback either, right?
Team was stacked. Stop trying to make it seem like team was stacked.
I will give you that. It was stacked on offense to the extent they had Michael Thomas and Zeke. I guess.
That team was stacked, man. Let's get this together, all right? All right, let's get all this together here. To see on all these stacked teams that Ezekiel Elliott been on, but yet he ain't done nothing much either. Okay. Meanwhile, he needed a big win against the Philadelphia Eagles. He gets 13 carries for 47 yards.
So we're wait.
In a big game, right? But you telling me that Christian McCaffrey didn't rise to the cream of the crop. Meanwhile, you need this game to get into the playoffs, and you only got 13 carries for 47 yards?
So what you're telling me is you're going to blame him. You're going to blame him.
Yeah, because, I mean, didn't you just blame McCaffrey?
Wait. You're going to blame him because, one, they don't give him the ball. 13 carries? Any other team, 13 carries, Dennis. Any other offensive coordinator, if they saw 13 carries and their best player was getting 13 carries in one game, I would have kept feeding the ball because he's bound to break one. We do know that. He is bound to break one. We do know that, right?
Yeah, but maybe the mighty Eagles defense was just shut down that day. Shut down.
You know the crazy thing is your best friend's what's your best friend's name? Oh, Dakota. Your best friend Dakota.
It's my boy.
Your best Dakota didn't do too much.
That's not my best friend. It's my cousin.
Your cousin didn't do too much that game either.
The whole team ain't do too much that game, but yet everybody blames my cousin Dakota.
Because you know why? Because guess what? The whole season could be blamed on Dakota and the offensive coordinator and the head coach. And the defense was trash. But that's besides the point. Zeke has no blame this season. Zeke did what he had to do. That's as simple as that.
I think he could have did more.
How can you do more?
I think he could have did more. They'd have had 2 more wins. He'd have did more, like you just said. They'd have had 2 more wins.
You wanna know something funny? And you agreed on this before, so you can't not agree on it. You wanna know something funny? There was games that Zeke literally had 50 to 60 yards in the first half, and when in the game with literally 80 yards with 2 extra carries, or maybe 3 extra carries. Yeah, so that's his fault.
I had him on my fantasy.
That's his fault that the offensive coordinator and the team stopped giving him the ball because they want to make Mr. Dakota Prescott the hero of the team.
He deserved it.
It sounds a little bit like the Seahawks, when Russell Wilson, they wanted Russell Wilson to be the hero of the team because, running back, it's a sexy position, but it ain't that much of a sexy position. It's not like the quarterback, It ain't that much of a sexy position like the quarterback. So let's make our quarterback Mr. Dakota Prescott, that man that we can market, that hasn't gotten in trouble. He's Mr. Almighty, let's make him the marketing point. We don't want to make Zeke, he's had some bad passes at the marketing point. But hey, let's make Dakota. That's what it seemed like this year. Why not roll? The guy who got us to 13-3. The guy that led the league in carrying 2 out of 3 years. Why not roll with him? So we're gonna blame him because his team didn't want to give him the ball. I don't know, Dennis. Seems like on your side a little.
That's what I'm going at with that. I'm going at with all that. But I'm gonna tell it to you like this. I'm taking Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is the better running back out of the two. I'm taking Christian McCaffrey. There's nothing that Christian McCaffrey can't do.
I guess so. We shall see this year. Does he have any excuses this year?
Nope. That's why he got paid more.
I'm just saying, does he have any excuses this year? Let me know before this year starts. Is there any excuses?
No, he know how to overcome all odds. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, is his quarterback bad this year?
I think this would be the second best quarterback he had. For Robbie Anderson, the best quarterback he had. I think this would be the most weapons he ever had because he got a route running guy and DJ Moore, and he got a speedster and Robbie Anderson.
He got 2 speedsters and with Curtis Samuel. So and their offense line has improved too. So I'm just making sure before this year. So I'm just making sure before this year start. Is there any excuses?
Nah, no excuses.
Okay.
He's winning the Super Bowl. That's what you think. Let me read these comments. All right. Read these comments. Everybody saying happy holidays. Happy holidays to everybody. All right. Jade says she loved the song. Let me clear my throat. All right. Ronald Enid said okay. BJ's in the house, Raven Sports. If you're ever looking for the up-to-the-minute sports, make sure y'all tune into Sam Sports. He always gives you the up-to-the-minute news and updates. That's right. Subscribe to Sam Sports. All right. Jay says there's no cookout out there storming. Ronnie said I did mine yesterday.
You can cook out.
I'm definitely social distancing away from the sweater Chad George has on. Yeah, I would too because the Broncos ain't that good.
Exactly. Don't be happy on the
Broncos. Yuri said Alabama needs a new running back. Where we at? Kellen said Bama got Najee Harris, a 3-year starter. He said Carter, TJ, Carter, Sanders, Kenyon Carter. All right. Letitia said, hey, boo. Hey, boo. Kellen said, hi, boo. What the? Kellen said, please like and share the show. She said, like and share, sir. Kellen said, running backs are a dime a dozen, but I like Christian McCaffrey. Donovan said, sounds like hate, Chad. Kellen said, please like and share the show of the Rise Up family at OnPoint Network. Kellen said, happy holidays from the Rise Up family. Like and share the show, the content on the show. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
First of all,
Kellen said, sounds like Ohio State University guy. Yuri said, I'm about to send you guys running backs. Robert Leader said, he is Dak Ham, whatever that is. Andre Robinson said, where is Chadwick George? He's here.
I'm here.
Said, Devontae Freeman is threatening to take a year off. All right, well, we ain't worried about Devontae Freeman. He can't block anyway, so it don't even matter.
First of all, though, here's the problem. Why do I keep getting called a hater for having? You know what? Y'all haters. I'm just gonna leave it as that.
Ethan Tweedle said Dak is a 4th rounder for a reason. Yeah.
Hold on, wait. What is that supposed to mean?
I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
I passed that.
I mean, I know what it's supposed to mean, but I'll comment on that later.
Yeah. Next topic.
The next topic. Let's get it together.
Right. So this is always a fun topic to me, as far as such. What state do you feel makes the best college athletes?
Who? Now, I would be a homer and just say Pennsylvania.
But you know that's not true.
But that's not true. I'm going to go with Florida, man. Florida been doing it for years and years. I'm going to go with Florida.
I definitely think Florida is definitely one of them. I got to go with Texas.
We got some legendary quarterbacks in Pennsylvania now. Don't be hating on us now. Hold up, man. We got some Hall of Fame.
No, y'all have a lot of good players from Texas. I mean, I'm not hating on y'all. I think didn't Zeke come from Texas? Didn't Didn't Zeke come from Pennsylvania though?
I'm not sure.
Or it was either Zeke or one of our running backs did. It might have been J.K. Dobbins, to be honest with you. It was one of our running backs though that came from up there. I mean, up in Pennsylvania. But
somebody said California.
California's good. That's why
somebody said Texas.
I'm saying I'm going with Texas. That's for sure. I think Texas has made the best athletes, and they continue to make the best athletes, especially if you look at their QB. Even just recently, Kyler Murray's from Texas too. So you're looking at even Kyler Murray. It's a lot of players.
Kyler Murray, you got Matthew Stafford, Nick Foles,
yep.
Drew Brees. I want to say Baker Mayfield too. Oh, I might be wrong.
I think you might be right. I'm not for sure on that, so don't quote me on that. California's another good one. You know, I remember one day I watched a California high school game. They don't play any defense there though. I'm like, that's one state that I've never seen.
California got Reggie Bush.
I have a lot. Aaron Rodgers from California too.
Aaron Rodgers. But Florida got some legendary people too, man.
Pennsylvania, Florida. I mean, Ohio makes good prospects too. I mean, I gotta throw my state in there, but they do. They make good prospects too.
Yeah, that's why we used to have the Big 33. Pennsylvania versus Ohio State.
Yep. I would say though Texas. I think it's a three-way. I think it's between Texas, California, and Florida, especially now recently. Florida's like
Maryland's another one been coming up.
Maryland's been coming up. Alabama has been too. Alabama, like the state of Alabama, has been coming up also. Yeah. I feel like a lot of teams are getting better at making people as far as such. But I mean, I just think those three states though, they have like a little upper hand recently. It's just because once again, those states are huge too, like humongous. And as many schools as there is there, you're bound to make a lot of more people than other people, if that makes sense. But
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Texas, shout out to my boy Marcus Betts. If you don't know Marcus Betts, he hosts the show on Friday, the Alpha Bet Sports Show. He rants and raves about Texas a lot. And Marcus Betts told me about the high schools in Texas, and
they're ridiculous.
I wasn't believing him until I went to Texas, and I actually seen a couple of those fields, and I thought they was the college fields, and it was like, no, these are high school fields.
College fields look like high school fields. It's ridiculous. Like it's absolutely. And to even think, like I said, Kyler Murray played at the biggest. I think he was in the biggest division there, in the best, like, because they go from. For certain states, it's different. It goes 1A, 2A, 3A, and 1A would be their biggest, or it'd be 6A, which is their biggest in Texas. Right. Kyler Murray won a championship, I think, 2 years back to back, or it might have been 3. And he was at one of the bigger schools. And, like, he's considered, like, one of the greatest quarterbacks down there ever. And, like, it's really ridiculous, though, if you look at his, like, if y'all take some time and look at his stadium that he played at, his stadium that he played at.
Shop inside the stadium.
Like, it's ridiculous. Like, absolutely ridiculous. Texas really and truly just breeds different. They truly just breed their teams different. But let's move on to our next topic. Our next topic on the docket is I want to dive into deeply to some of these teams in college football that we just went over, just to go into how we feel like they'll do, this season. I wanted to talk about I kind of feel like you've already talked about your Tennessee Volunteers, but yeah. I wanted to hear your opinion more on it. I mean, what do you suggest? Like, what are you suspecting for like their record this year? Like, what do you think?
The offensive line is going to be intact. Shout out to Trey Smith. The offensive line, defensive line is usually pretty solid. The linebackers are usually okay. The secondary is 1 or 2 times we made splash with some secondary, but it was usually Our wide receivers. They not I'm just gonna say that they okay. But our running game is usually everything. But we don't usually have that quarterback We haven't had that splash quarterback in a long time. And that's what I'm saying.
It's been a good little while for y'all to have it.
Right. We that's exactly what we need. We need that splash quarterback. And I'm hoping, if Deion Sanders is listening, I'm hoping that his son, his younger son, Sanders, hope he make sure, he come to Tennessee. We got that number 2 waiting on him. He come on to Tennessee and light the scoreboards up. We'll be waiting on it. Because I wanted Peyton Manning's nephew to come.
What's his name? His name is what is his name?
That's what they were saying. That was like when I was reading the whoever the beat writer was for Tennessee at the time. Sorry, I messed your name about. I don't know exactly who you are, but that's the guy that I read his article, and he was saying, wouldn't it be great if Peyton Manning's nephew and Marvin Harrison Jr. both went to Tennessee?
Well, Marvin Harrison's coming to a school that he knows he can win at. He's coming to Ohio State already.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, he's committed already. He wants to win some games.
Transfers are likable. That's all I'm saying.
Transfers are likable, but we're gonna make sure we play Marvin Harrison. That's for sure.
Most definitely.
Number 10 I want to talk about is LSU. With them losing Joe Burrow, how do you feel like they'll fare this year?
They ain't lose Joe Burrow. They lost the whole offense.
They did lose the whole offense.
Lost the whole offense. And with them losing the whole offense, I don't know how they're going to recover from a whole offense.
They still have
their best. The team that's in the best condition right now is Clemson.
I mean, they still have the best wide receiver in the nation. Well, one of the best wide receivers in the nation, Jamar Chase. That's for sure.
I think they gave them top 3 wide receivers.
Yeah, they still have. I mean, well, their quarterback is going to be Brendan Miles, and and they still have Terrence Marshall Jr. is a wide receiver there, and I think he can be good. They just took a lot of hits. I mean, they took a lot of hits this year with them losing all these players. I don't know. I mean, what do you think their record is? What do you think their record is going to be?
Oh, you talking about LSU?
Yeah, we were like if you were to give them amount of games they'll win, what are you thinking?
I'll give them 8.
8?
I think it was 8-3.
That's low. Ooh, that's low.
8-3, they still be in the top 10. I don't see nobody going undefeated this year. Not even everybody's favorite Clemson team. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I got 2 teams going undefeated this year.
What teams you got going undefeated? Ohio State?
I got Clemson and Ohio State. I think their schedules are both easy. I'm be honest with you here. I think both of their schedules are fairly easy. And I'll go down to the schedule tree because I have it up right here. Clemson plays Georgia Tech, Louisville, Akron, Virginia, Boston College. Florida State hasn't been good since Jameis Winston. NC State, Syracuse. Syracuse will give them a run for their money. I will say that at times. NC State will too, but I don't think they'll beat them. Clemson plays Notre Dame this year. That can be a good one. That can be a good one that you watch out for. Citadel, Wake Forest, and South Carolina.
Okay. Oh, well, we got some comments. Hold on. Let me read these comments.
Go ahead.
Let me read these comments. All right. Sharon said, there is not one state that makes the best. You can't argue that. And Kellen said, ain't nobody care. Kellen said, please like and share the show. Sharon said, but your question is what state makes the best, not what school. Sharon says Ohio. Marlo Lawson Jr. says Texas hands down. Ramona said that LSU will not be in the top 10 this year. Bama lost 9 players to the 2020 draft. I think LSU will still be a top 10 team, though. They still got some speed going. I forgot that they got 2 offensive linemen, 2 young offensive linemen, and one of them is a beast. I forgot about. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you all his name in a second. Hold on.
I know exactly what you're talking about too. That's the funny thing. I'm looking at their schedule this year because
offensive guard Cordell Thomas.
Yeah, that's the one that who went Facebook viral for over destroying everybody account.
Destroying everybody in that practice. Yes.
So LSU, they start off the season, well, they play UTSA, then they play Texas. I never have faith in Texas because
Texas got their Texas quarterback is returning, ain't he?
yeah, he's there. Sam Elligan's there. Tom Herman's there. But Texas
And they got
somehow
their wide
blows
receiver.
right. But here's the thing though. Texas always somehow always blow up their games for some reason, which never makes sense to me. They always somehow like lose their games that they're supposed to win. But then they have games that they win. For instance, 2 years in a row they beat Oklahoma, which made no sense because Oklahoma was the better team than them. But guess what? They went out there and won. But then again, they turned around and lost to Kansas. They lost to Kansas. No, yeah, they lost to Kansas and they lost to another team that was in the Big Ten, Maryland. They lost to Maryland 2 years in a row. So they're just iffy at times. They don't never win games that they're supposed to at times. They play Rice. They play they play Ole Miss. They play Florida. I think they're gonna lose to Florida, so I got them. That's one loss for them right there. This is LSU schedule, by the way. They play Arkansas. They play Mississippi State. They play Alabama. I think Alabama wins this game, especially with Mac Jones there. I think they're gonna go back to a ground. This is the year that I think you're gonna see Alabama get back to their original ways when they had Mark Ingram, Trent Richardson, and Derrick Henry, like where they are strictly ground and pound. This is the year that you'll see that. It's not gonna be we're gonna pass the ball and we're gonna put up 40 points. They're gonna rely on their defense and they're gonna go strictly ground and pound. This is the year that you see that goes back. That it goes back to the Alabama.
This you talking about, right?
What'd you say?
LSU you talking about, right?
No, I was talking about Alabama right there. I think both of the teams will. I mean, I think both of the teams are going to go back to relying on their ground and pound game. I don't think Mac Jones is that good of a quarterback. I think he reminds me of as a AJ McCarron and a Greg McElroy. He reminds me of those type quarterbacks. The only reason why they changed it to that style of football that they were playing was because Tua had that good of an arm. Now, don't get me wrong, AJ McCarron had a decent arm and he was high. Like he had high IQ. And that's why I think Mac Jones has very high IQ. And he will win you games. He's not going to lose you a game, but he's also not going to win you a game. That's for sure. I mean, he's not going to like totally win you the game, like where you can put up 50, 60 points if needed. So I think they're going to rely on that defense and they're going to rely on that run game. The same with LSU, though. The defense is going to have to step up this year, especially with them losing a lot of pieces this year on the offense. I think the defense is going to have to step up. I think the 3 losses, though, is a reasonable thing because I think they are going to lose to Florida, Alabama, and Auburn. I feel like they are going to lose to Auburn or Texas A&M, one of those 2 schools. It's going to be – I think 3 to 4 losses is definitely a good range that you picked, for sure.
They got Chuba Hubbard, Oklahoma State, as the number 1 ranked running back.
It's understandable.
Number 2, Travis Needy. I really mess his name all the time.
I always mess up his name, but you're talking about from Clemson, right?
Yeah. Number 3 is Najee Harris, and number 4 is Journey Brown.
Journey Brown, it's good too. Chuba Hubbard's good. He just plays for Oklahoma State, so he in the division that he's in, a lot of people they look over him, if that makes sense. They look over him because they don't, as you know, people say they don't play defense in that conference, which is understandable because they usually don't. So they really look over Chuba Hubbard. And you said 2 was Travis, right? I think he's poised for a big year. I think he's gonna be the first running back taken off the board this year, also in the NFL draft. And for next,
that Oklahoma State may be something to watch. They got a top 10 wide receiver ranked so far, and they got a top 5 running back.
Yeah, no. Oklahoma State should be pretty good this year. There's no way that they should lose more than 2 games. They should be at least in the range of having at least 10 wins. I don't see them losing more than 2 games. They shouldn't, at least. I mean, I don't. I mean, their team is very good this year. They had a lot of people return back. I don't think they play anybody too hard either this year. Their best matchup this year is going to be against TCU, but as we know, TCU was good last year, but that's going to be their best matchup this year. Oklahoma, I'm sorry. Oklahoma is going to be good for them too. I don't think Baylor, they play Baylor too, but I don't think Baylor's going to play as good, especially with them now losing. They're losing their head coach to the Panthers too. I think it's going to hurt them a lot unless somebody just steps up in that program to the point where that team is still just functioning at a high level. I just don't see that though.
All right. Okay.
So going to our last topic before we move to our NBA section. So I call this section defend the player or defend the team or defend the topic or defend whatever I give you. So I'm going to give
Go ahead, give it to me.
All right. So tell me why defend the fact that Justin Blackman was a better college wide receiver than Randy Moss.
Well, one reason why Justin Blackman was better than Randy Moss because, he got more of an exposure than Randy Moss did. But I personally don't think that he's a better college wide receiver than Randy Moss. But he did get more of exposure, and like I said, he was everything over there. Who was their quarterback at the time?
At Oklahoma State, I don't remember who was their quarterback.
Damn, didn't they have an epic battle against
Oklahoma?
That was the one they had. It was Oklahoma. I thought it was somebody else.
I think it was either Oklahoma or you talking about against. I think they played Texas A&M one year.
I think that's what it was. They had an epic battle against somebody.
You talking about
like a 200-yard game against?
Yeah, you talking about? I think when they played against Texas A&M and Michael Crabtree might have been there. I think
Michael Crabtree went to Texas Tech, didn't he?
Texas Tech. That's what I think I meant. That's what I meant to say. I don't think it was Tech. But yeah, okay. I want you to defend to me now because you guys defend it. Defend to me why LSU is a true DBU.
Oh, why LSU is a true DBU? Well, you got Patrick Peterson. You have the Honey Badger. You have Jamal Adams. You have Tre'Davious White. Who else came out of that school that's not ringing the bell right now? I know I'm missing. How can I not say the Green Goblin? As much as people want to say he wasn't that good of a defensive back, the man was a starting corner on a Super Bowl team. So I'm going with the Green Goblin. Jalen Mills, if you don't know who the Green Goblin is, Jalen Mills.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You really think
he was a seventh round pick and became a starting corner on the Philadelphia Eagles and helped lead that team. And as a matter of fact, they had him on top tier wide receivers such as Julio Jones, who he stopped to win the game against the Falcons to go to the next round of the Super Bowl.
So are we really considering him good?
Next round of the playoffs, I'm sorry.
So, okay, so you're considering him good. Is that?
I'm considering him in the conversation. I don't consider him the cream of the crop. No.
Okay, all right.
He's in the conversation.
So that's your defense.
I need another one.
I'm giving you another.
Give me another LSU guy.
They'll play for her?
Yeah, another LSU defensive back. Right now, it ain't ringing the bell.
You said Patrick Peterson, right?
I said Patrick Peterson. That's the guy. So we got number 7 is legendary.
I think you named all of them.
No, I think I'm missing somebody, but we'll go on to the next one. I think I'm missing somebody though.
All right, I think maybe. Defend to me why Cam Newton is a better college quarterback than Tim Tebow.
Oh, that's easy. I can tell you that, bro. See, it's real easy. One of them can pass the ball, and one of them can lead the team. That's the difference on that. Tim Tebow is a team leader. I give him that all day. He's a team leader. He can lead men down a dark alley and let them know that they're going to be safe. I give Tim Tebow that all day. But Cam Newton was special thrower of the ball. He was a special player. I wouldn't give him the leader capability, but I would give him the difference maker. Like he was definitely a playmaker in college football. Should he have been behind Tim Tebow? No, he should have been transferred.
Okay. Huh. So you think Cam Newton is just all right? I got no.
Cam Newton is better than Tim Tebow? Yes.
Yeah, I got no for you. Defend me why Joe Burrow is a better quarterback than Cam Newton.
I can't because he's not.
Why not?
No, he's not. As we see him go from one team to another, and it took him. He had a whole year struggling in LSU last year before he went to before this year coming up. But struggling in LSU.
He did have a full year struggling at LSU, but let's not act like this year did not make up for that whole year. At the end of the day, they ended their both of them ended their college careers with these same accomplishments.
Yeah.
I mean that's the simple truth of it. They both ended their year with the same accomplishments. I mean, both ended their college career with the same accomplishments. And
I'm going to say that Joe Burrow had more help than Cam Newton.
And that's something I won't disagree with you with on there. I won't disagree with you with the simple fact that Joe Burrow had way more help than Cam Newton. I will totally 100% agree with you on that one. But since you can't defend it, I'll go to a different one on that one. Then on that note, I'll go to a different one against you. This should be fun. I'm gonna give you a Tennessee player too. Defend to me why Tennessee has a better historical college history than the University of Cincinnati. Just gonna give you one.
Well, don't nobody know the University of Cincinnati. Let's get that out of the way. Tennessee is a well-known school. People love Rocky Top. All right, we talking about Rocky Top. We talking about Tennessee. We talking about the checkered orange and white. Man, listen, it's legendary. We got Hall of Famers that went to that school. All right.
Cincinnati got Hall of Famers. They got the best
football team.
Yeah, they got the best tight end in the league from that school. They got your center from that school.
Yeah, but he didn't get drafted.
And he's still a Hall of Famer, ain't he?
He will be going in the Hall of Fame, but he didn't get drafted.
Both of them going to the Hall of Fame.
He's not the tight end is the older brother. I mean the younger brother is the tight end is definitely going in. He's a shoo-in.
The center is going to the Hall of Fame too.
The older brother's going in. He ain't a shoo-in, but he's going in.
Like I said, let's not act like they don't have Hall of Famers because they do. They have more. I mean, they have more. They have more than just them. Let's not act like they don't. But
it's not like as you can see with our recruiting class. I'm not sitting there making it up. When it comes to recruiting people, Tennessee and Cincinnati. No, I'm going to Tennessee. I bet if you went back and they got the same offer they got from Cincinnati to Tennessee, I bet you both of them would have been in Tennessee.
I guess.
Kelsey brothers.
All right, last one before we switch topics. Defensively, while Myles Garrett is the better defensive end in college than Chase Young, and you have to defend it. Don't say I can't. You have to, even if you don't believe it, defend it.
Right. That's the thing about it. You should have gave me somebody else. Like you should have said, "Why do I think that Chase Young is better than Nick Bosa or something like that?"
All right, that's fine. We can do that. Why do you think Chase Young is better than both the Bosa brothers?
Well, the thing that I like about Chase Young that's better than both of the Bosa brothers is the fact that his motor don't stop. Like I seen the Bosa brothers once they block, their motor stops. His motor don't stop. He actually looks to try to keep making a play. I think he's stronger than both the Bosa brothers too. At least that's the way it looked in college. I ain't seen him in the NFL yet, so. At least that's the way it looked in college. He looked stronger. And he didn't take a year off like one of them Okay, he played through it and even got suspended for paying back a loan that he took out. I ain't never seen him. Leave that alone.
Hey man, you can't. Hey,
On the OnPoint Network, and I want to thank the OnPoint Network for everything that they have done for us. But we have to move on to the next topic. I'm going with Chase.
I'm not going to disagree with you. Now, with that, as I said, we are doing a two-part show as far as such. We are moving on to the NBA. So, news came out yesterday or maybe 2 days ago now. The NBA is possibly going to be returning, and they will play all of their games possibly in a Disney complex. I had Orlando first, but it's going to probably be a Disney complex. From what I heard is this Disney complex has 6 courts on it. The complex has 6 courts in total on it. So it would be kind of like a secluded complex. What's your take on this? How do you feel about this?
Well, let me give you the whole rundown. Hold on, let me give you the whole.
Okay, whole rundown. Okay.
And I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I have got all this up-to-date information from Sam Sports. If you are not subscribed to Sam Sports on Facebook or Instagram, please subscribe to Sam Sports Facebook and Instagram. That's Sam SAMZ Sports SPORTZ. All right. Now, reading this from Sam Sports that he wrote earlier, he said the NBA is scheduled on the table as possible return around the corner. Training camp will be from June 20th to July the 10th. 5 regular season games from July the 15th to July the 23rd. First round of playoffs start July 25th to August 7th. Second round of playoffs goes from August 8th to August 21st. Conference finals goes from August 22nd to September the 5th. And the finals are from September the 7th to September the 20th. NBA draft will be September 25th. Free agency will start October the 1st. All taking place in Disney World. Thank you for that, Sam Sports. With that being said, if that's the schedule, that's a great schedule. I think they're giving them too much time to train, personally. I think they need to start them little 5 games right around the end of June.
I think they do too. Only reason why I'm saying this is, if you notice with that schedule, which it was going to go into the next NBA season regardless, that's what was going to happen anyway. But that schedule goes like mainly into the depth of like the NBA schedule to when they start. Honestly and truly, if they keep that schedule that they're doing right now, I probably don't see them playing like their first game until like November of next season. I'm talking about for the next NBA season.
No, I don't see them playing a game until Christmas.
Christmas, you think?
Yeah.
I mean, that's 3 months. It's usually 3 months. So that's
Christmas. The whole October they're gonna take off. The whole November they come back.
Christmas, yeah.
With their little draft picks.
It just makes everything complicated too, because then now is it going to be a shortened season next season? Is the real question. So it's going to be a shortened season. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I like the schedule. How do you feel about them not going to their stadiums? That it's just them in that complex. How do you feel about that?
At this point, we just need to finish the season. I'm not really upset about it. You know, during this pandemic, you know, we're gonna have to make adjustments, and I'm glad that we made an adjustment. We gotta wait for the season to start, and I'm glad it's a way that it can help Disney World too. So, because they really gonna take a big loss, but now they won't. So,
I can already see it though, being that players are gonna say, "We weren't at home. We were out of our comfort level." I can already see it happen. So that's the only thing. And I can already see this excuses happening. But I do like the idea. And I do hope that this idea and everything goes into it as far as such. I don't think they should play any regular season games, to be honest with you.
yeah, I think all the teams that's eliminated should just stay home.
Stay home.
As a matter of fact, all the teams that's eliminated, as soon as the playoffs start, they need to be right there doing the draft lottery.
Yeah, like they don't need to play any regular season games. Get the playoffs started. Everybody that's in the playoffs.
I don't know about everybody. I'm just gonna say it's about 12 teams that I think that ain't making it to the playoffs. and then you got some teams that's actually fighting for a position. Like you
Well,
got Portland, you got New Orleans, and you got Memphis. That's all fighting for that eighth seed.
but that's for the Western Conference. What I should say is in the Eastern Conference, everybody was going to make the playoffs.
And I think Orlando's in the eighth seed with 23 wins.
With 30. They got 30 wins. They got 30.
30 on.
So that Eastern Conference is solidified. I think that's fine right there. They don't need to play anymore. Like, it's good. Like, I think the Eastern Conference is like, because the next team next to Orlando was Washington with 24 wins. They weren't making the playoffs. I mean, that's
right. So we don't need to see Washington, and we don't need to see the Knicks.
Yeah, so like we're good. Like, they don't need to play.
Right. Now, but those teams that need to make the playoffs, they need to play each other.
Yeah, so
as a matter of fact, they need to have a mini playoffs.
Yeah, with the Western Conference, what I will say is after the 7th seed, which is Dallas, they have 40 wins. You have Memphis with 32, Portland with 29, and then you have 28 New Orleans and 28 the Kings.
All right, that's it.
So that's all. I mean, the Spurs are 27, but I think they're too far behind, be honest with you, because it's 45 games. Unless they all lose their games, which is very like that's not going to happen. San Antonio's out. I think the Western Conference definitely benefits from this as far as this, especially with Portland, Memphis, and New Orleans, because that gives them a chance to get back in, and even Sacramento, that gives them a chance to win these games so they can get back into the playoffs. So it definitely benefits them, I will say.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, let's just see if Portland can make it. I just want Melo to make it to the playoffs. That's all.
I got you a Melo fan.
Oh, hold on. Come on. Now, I'm going to tell you the story about how it goes, man. Melo, people hate Melo, but they love Derrick Rose. You know what I'm saying? Like, Melo could go out and miss 3 shots, and they'd be like, come on, Melo. You know, but Derrick Rose will go out and break his leg, man. And those Derrick Rose fans, you know what they say?
I was about to say.
You know you're going to come back better next year, right?
Wait. How is that the same with him breaking his leg?
I'm telling you the loyalty on Derrick Rose fans and the loyalty on the way people view Melo. I think I'm the only one that I love Melo, man.
No, I mean, here's the funny thing. Because I was gonna save this for the end of the show, but I'll just talk about it now. One thing I've noticed about fans is, back in the day, of course we criticize players that didn't win the rings, but we always hear if they didn't win a ring is, oh, but they were still great. For instance, Allen Iverson. He might not have won the ring, but people say, oh, he was still great. Charles Barkley, that's his hindering point, but people say he was still great. Even still with Karl Malone and John Stockton. They were still great. But we go to today's context, though. We go to people like Melo, for instance. People say he sucks because he hasn't won a ring. Like, people downright says he sucks because he hasn't won a ring. Russell Westbrook hasn't won a ring. People say he sucks. Like, I don't know. I've noticed this, and as time goes by, you start noticing stuff like this. But with newer age players, if you don't win a ring, they don't even say that you're great. They just say you suck. I'm just wondering how did it stray so far from, oh yeah, this player is still great even though he didn't win a ring, to, oh, they suck because they didn't win a ring. By that context, when the people that didn't win a ring suck too, I don't know. It's weird though because it's just something you notice. Like, we base so much off of rings that we don't see. Like I said, I mean, being in the ring is a team sport. It's a team sport. You can't win a ring by yourself. And yes, Ethan, it is. Social media is a big thing towards that, and I will agree with that.
Now everybody got something to say.
Yep. And that's why I said that's one thing. Like I said, it's always been interesting. Definitely been interesting. Donovan, LeBron's. I mean, he said the Lakers are winning the championship this year. LeBron needs his 4th.
Hold on. Let me read the comments. Hold on. Let's see. Ramona said, Dalton said, Which college football team will be a sleeper this year? Oklahoma State lost their QB. Ramona said Dennis the safety for the Cardinals, Tyrann Matthew. I said him, I said the Honey Badger. Defensive end. Oh no, Ramona, we were just talking about DBU, like defensive back university. That's all we was talking about. You name linebackers and defensive ends and all defensive tackles. No. It said the Lakers winning fourth ring. That's about it. All right, so what's the next one? Next topic.
Top 74 players. I saw this topic actually a couple weeks ago when they were actually going through it. ESPN released
You said top what?
Top 74 players. ESPN released their top 74 players. Obviously, we're not going to go through the whole list, but I will name the top 10 what they gave. Michael Jordan was 1. LeBron was 2. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was 3. Bill Russell was 4. Magic Johnson was 5. Will Chamberlain was 6. 7. Larry Bird. 8. Tim Duncan. 9. Kobe Bryant. 10. Shaq. I guess I'll go to 20 because I'll go to 20. Oscar Robertson was 11. 12. Hakeem Olajuwon. 13. Stephen Curry. 14. Kevin Durant. 15. Julius Erving. 16. Jerry West. 17. Karl Malone. 18. Moses Malone. 19. Dirk Nowitzki. 20. Kevin Garnett. 21 is Scotty. Any surprises on this list to you?
No surprises.
Yeah, I
Wait. Hold on. Let me go look at it again. Wait. There was no surprise. Hold on.
I'm gonna say I have one surprise for sure. I'll be honest with you here. I don't know. Bill, I guess they're going off of titles too. Bill Russell isn't that high to me on my list. To be honest with you, I don't have Will Chamberlain that high on my list. I don't.
That's because you think they're a cheat code.
No. I don't think Bill Russell was a cheat code, actually. I've seen Dennis Rodman get 20 rebounds a game. I mean, Bill Russell getting 40 rebounds in one game and 50 rebounds and stuff, it makes sense to me because especially against the talent he was playing against, it makes complete sense to me. Like, so I don't think Bill Russell was a cheat code. The man only averaged, 19 points a game? Who I think is a cheat code is Will Chamberlain. It's because of the stuff that we put around this man. 100-point game that no one ever witnessed it, and no media was around. When they had me,
you gotta remember this, man. At the time, basketball, the lines were shorter. And it wasn't 94 feet of hardwood. So
Dennis.
At the end of the day, Wilt scored 100 points. All right.
Dennis, what you're telling
me, and that's enough to be there.
Dennis, no media has any proof that this man scored 100 points. And so what you telling me is you want me to believe this man
wasn't that big back then.
Once again, no 3-point line.
That's what I said. The line, I said that.
No, he can barely shoot free throws. You want me to believe that he scored 100 points?
He was averaging 50 points a game. So
I believe
100 points was not that shocking to me.
Then they said he came out the game too a couple times. How?
I'm trying to listen. The lines were shorter. About 94 feet of hardwood.
And then to go on top of all that, though, Dennis, you know what? He benched 600 pounds too.
Huh?
He benched 600 pounds too. You know.
And you know he's a Hall of Famer in volleyball too.
No, he's a Hall of Famer in volleyball.
He's a Hall of Famer in volleyball. That's what I'm saying. So,
and I'm not gonna say his other feet because we are on live, but his other feet doesn't make sense either. This man isn't real, as far as I see it. He's not a real person. He's not a real person.
How do you feel about Steph Curry being in the top 20?
I completely agree with him and Kevin Durant being in the top 20.
I don't.
Why not?
I don't think that they've done it. The fact that they're still playing, just to me, I don't feel as though they've done enough. If their career stopped right now, you telling me they top 20 players all time?
I do. I definitely will say that they are. Stephen Curry is the greatest 3-point shooter we've ever seen.
He has more championships than a lot of people on this list. It's a lot of people in that top 20 on that list. At the end of the day, he solidified himself in history already. Now he's just competing for that top 10 spot right now. People would honestly say, and I think on this list he is, he's like the third, he's the top 3 point guard. That's what people would honestly say because he's put that spot in there that he is. So I agree with it. And Kevin Durant, I think he's the best. I mean, like I said,
Kevin Durant is a top 10 talent.
Kevin Durant is a top 20 player of all time. If not, like I said, he's the second to third best small forward of all time. At the end of the day, I have LeBron, and I'm not gonna disrespect Larry like that, and I'll give him that 2 spot. As painful as that says, but I do think Kevin Durant.
Larry was playing today. I think he killed Durant and LeBron.
Stop it!
Both of them. And he ain't got. The crazy thing is, and he don't jump that good. Nothing. I think he killed both. His jump shot was ridiculous. But his hustle was even more ridiculous.
What was he gonna do against him on defense?
He was gonna try to do his best.
Try to do his best. KD was gonna drop 50 or 60 on this.
But he had the back problem. Ain't nobody dropping 50. Nobody dropping 50.
He was dropping 50 on.
He ain't dropped. First of all, Kevin Durant ain't dropped 50 on Patrick Beverly. So let's get this out the way.
He dropped 50 on his head.
He was not. He didn't drop 50 on Patrick Beverly. And Patrick
he dropped 45. He dropped 45.
And he's 7 foot, and he ain't dropped 50 on him.
He dropped 45.
This is a soft generation. Larry Bird would be right in their grill. I ain't trying to hear it.
Are we just gonna act like Larry Bird was this defensive messiah that just can guard anybody? Because Larry Bird wasn't that.
No, I said small forwards. They both small forwards.
They are, and you think he can as fast as LeBron? I'm not even gonna talk about LeBron because
I was waiting for you to mention LeBron because there was a guy that he lost to his second time in the finals that couldn't jump that high. That had a hell of a jump shot.
Who are you talking about?
You know who I'm talking about.
Who are you talking about?
Dirk Nowitzki. Right now, he's ranked as number 19 on this list.
Same thing. They weren't guarding. He wasn't Dirk. If Dirk Nowitzki was guarding LeBron, LeBron would have probably put up 60 points a game. But
he only had 6. You know who was guarding LeBron in that finals?
Everybody on the team.
No, Jason Terry, and he had 6 points in the finals.
Jason Terry was not guarding him. I hate that.
Terrible.
I hate that.
Tell me that Larry Bird.
I hate that.
Larry Bird be done. Listen.
That narrative that y'all use is horrible to think that Jason Terry was guarding him. Stop it. Jason Terry was not guarding him.
They put Jason Terry on. Would help side defense in the zone.
No, they had 3 different people on that man. They had the Matrix Sean Marion on him. They had what was his name? Deshaun Jackson, I think it was, or Deshaun Stevens.
Gibson.
No, it was Deshaun Stevens.
Oh, Deshaun Stevens, okay.
They had Deshaun Stevens, and they had one more person who was a small forward on him. They had Jason Terry. They did not have Jason Terry on.
Jason Terry on him, and the zone will help side defense. I'm gonna pull the tape up. Let you know that.
Pull the tape up, please, because they did not have him on them. Once again,
Jason Terry,
one of the most unathletic people.
And you telling me that this is what I'm saying. You can't name nobody that D Larry Bird up like that. That was undersized on him.
What I'm going to tell you is right here. The game has changed. People are faster. People play more. People are definitely faster. We do know this, right? Is that a fact?
People are definitely faster. I think he would have got with the time. He would have got faster.
He wouldn't have.
I'm just saying we ain't got to go get the slow Larry Bird from 83. All I'm saying is put Larry Bird.
Never been fast.
But put Larry. I ain't say he was going to be that fast. Let's get out of the way.
I'm just saying.
Larry Bird in today's game, he probably has Dirk Nowitzki speed, which is enough.
That's slow.
Which is enough. I'm talking about Dirk Nowitzki, young Dirk Nowitzki speed, which is still slow.
No, that's still slow. Come on. You just said Larry Bird wouldn't hold a candle to him right now. I'm be honest with you.
You gotta be kidding. Didn't I just tell you Patrick Beverly D'd up Kevin Garnett?
I guess 45 points is D'ing up somebody else.
He didn't have 45 points that game.
I guess 45 is D'ing up somebody else.
He did not have 45. That game that they came back when they was down 31?
Hold on.
He didn't have 45 points that game.
I'm going to tell you how many points that Kevin Durant, I'm gonna tell you his whole stats.
That was in a playoff game.
I'm gonna tell you his whole stats for that series because people say he was getting D'd up. I'm gonna tell you his whole stats.
He had 45
series.
I think he had 30. You might have had 30.
I'm pretty sure he had 40. Bro.
Let me read the comments on this. Sean Jackson said, "Yo, Marcus Betts said Ramona died 1 year wonder. Donovan said Melo deserves a ring. Jump in these comments. Ramona died said Marcus Betts. The discussion was who was all drafted from LSU. No, that wasn't the discussion. The discussion was who was better DBU.
All right.
I can't remember what other DBs was drafted from LSU.
All right, I'm about to let me name you this. Let me name you off. This is what happened. I'm gonna go to you off with exactly what happened. Clippers lost the first game. Kevin Durant didn't play that well. I don't know. I don't have his complete stats for that game. I mean, the Clippers lost the first game. That's the game that Steph had 38 and fits in. The Clippers won the second game. They had 36. They had 36. Lil Wills had 36. Now, the third game, the Warriors won. Kevin Durant put up 38. Y'all done pissed him off. The fourth game, Kevin Durant had 33. You know, y'all done pissed him off a little bit more. It's whatever. The fifth game, Kevin Durant had 45. That's the game you're talking about. They came back on. Now the last game to close out the series. You want to guess how many points he had? You guess. Just take 60. 50. The 58 you say he didn't have 50.
Not in that game they came back 3-1. The game they came back 3-1, he ain't having no 45.
He had, you talking about when he had 45.
That was the game they came back 31?
Yes.
Not 3-1, it was down 31 points.
I think that even might have been game
was
two.
Down 31 points.
Yeah, that was game two.
I think that was the big game Lou Will had. The one that he had 30.
Game two. That's why I say he had game two. Yeah. But what I'm telling you is when y'all said that he was getting guarded by, and look at the quotation fingers, guarded by Lou Will. By Patrick Beverly.
Patrick Beverly. Did a good job in one game of the series. That was all that was needed.
Okay, and
Patrick Beverly is 6'2".
Okay, and one game out the series got them 50 points. You know what Patrick Beverly said after the fact? You want to know what he said after the fact? What can you do? He's 6. What can you do? He's 7 foot. You see how the whole narrative changed once he got D'd up?
Ignore that.
You see how the whole narrative changed once he got D'd up? Come on, Dennis. Kevin Durant would destroy Larry Bird. Destroy Larry Bird. Completely destroy him. Larry Bird would be destroyed. And I'm not even going to talk about LeBron because it's not even fair. LeBron's a grown man.
Listen, we talking about now again. Let me say this again. We talking about playoff time. Again, I've seen Dirk Nowitzki beat Kevin Durant and LeBron James in the same year and win a championship.
Okay, and I get you.
Portland first. He had to play a broken down Brandon Roy. I think the next series he played the Lakers. He beat the Lakers, and then the third series he had to play OKC. He beat the Miami Heat.
And he played a younger Kevin Durant. Let's get that together, right?
Played a young Kevin Durant.
And he played an unexperienced LeBron James.
What was that? Whoa. You in your 8th season. No. You're in your 7th season. Don't you try to give him all that extra. Unexperienced. No. Okay. Hold on. Put that team together. What you say? Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. That was some unexperienced. No.
Hey, Dennis.
You're not going to keep giving LeBron all these passes, too. That's not what you're going to do.
But guess what?
I've never
seen LeBron. I've never seen Larry Bird come back from a 3-1 deficit and lead his team to the championship.
Oh, he wouldn't get down 3-1. Let's get that out the way. Larry Bird's a hell of a competitor. He don't give up like that.
I've never seen Larry Bird lead his team back from a 3-1 deficit. Ever. That's ever. Because you know why? Only one man. And one man has ever done that. That's LeBron James and with Kyrie Irving and company. Only one man has ever done that. LeBron James and company. LeBron would walk circles.
Let me read these comments. You are something else. All right. Donovan said, nope, Steph Curry is a regular season player, but horrible playoffs and finals. True. Needed a boatload of help to accomplish his championships. Then this year he had the opportunity to lead his team. And got hurt. And convincingly got hurt. I'm sorry. Steph Curry is one dimensional and a liability on defense. Top 20? Nah, bruh. Ramona said, I named the DBs drafted from LSU. You just didn't read the comments. No, I read the comments. I read all the DBs you named. It's just that I already said those DBs. That's what I was saying. So I read all the DBs that you said. Yeah,
I'm confused. Donovan, going off your comment, you said Steph Curry is one dimensional, but you have Larry Bird in your top 10, I'm pretty sure, but he didn't play defense either.
You might want to read the rest of these comments first. Hold on.
Go ahead and read them because I'll read them so I can talk to
Ramona said this is live TV show for OnPoint. Shout out to OnPoint Network. Ramona Dawes said, laughing very, very loud. Chadwick George go back to school. Jared said, who's trying to take DBU from LSU now? And you missed it. That was the first hour, Jared. Donovan said, inexperienced LeBron. Chad, that's a laughable statement.
It was an inexperienced finals LeBron. As simple as that.
No, how can you say that's the second time in the finals? At what point is he experienced?
Hold
up. You in your seventh season and your second time in the finals. At what point are you experienced?
Here, understand what I'm saying. Understand what I'm saying. After that year, literally, you see LeBron. It was a different LeBron every single finals. And the reason why I call it inexperienced because one, the first final he went to, he wasn't really even supposed to be in that finals. Let's be honest here. They weren't supposed to be in that finals against the Spurs. They weren't. Like that Cleveland Cavaliers team was never supposed to be in that finals.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'll give you that one.
Okay.
If I go back there again, that's like me dating a girl the first time. Oh, yeah, that was inexperienced. So then I date her again. Like, how many times do you got to go to the finals to be experienced? Is he still unexperienced now? That's all I want to know. Let me read.
Once again, here's what I'm telling you. You weren't supposed to be there the first time. You agree with that. They weren't supposed to be there. The Pistons should have won that series, but LeBron manpowered them with that team that he had. Though you go to the second time. Yeah, they were there. But once again, I count that truly as his first finals that he actually was there.
Oh, my God. Are you serious?
I do.
Put the super team together?
Yeah, that's his first finals that he actually was there.
Oh, my God.
I'm not giving any excuse for him because, once again, he played like complete dog crap in that series. And once again.
So how did you call that inexperience?
Because.
It's either listen, this is it. It's either you want it or you don't.
No.
There's no such thing about experience when you get to, it's either you want it or you don't.
Not true. It is.
That's
it
the
is
thing about it. Do you want
it? Thing of experience, though. It is. That's the thing about it.
That's why you'll see surprise teams win championships because they want it more.
It is
like the Dallas Mavericks beating the Miami Heat. They wanted it more.
He
wasn't taking
I'm not gonna agree with you and sit there and say that they wanted it more. I will sit here and agree with you that once again that team that the Miami Heat put together that year were new. They were still trying to get used to each other. If they ran into them the second year, they would have got destroyed. And that's just as simple as that.
Oh my gosh! Why do they have to wait for a second year? You have the best team ever assembled in NBA history.
That's the best team ever assembled.
Not only, well, I'm gonna tell you why. Not only were they top five in all their positions, but they were also still in their 20s. They was young. It was in their prime of their careers.
That's the best team ever assembled in NBA history.
But in the prime of their careers, yes.
No. Their bench was horrible. One. That's
what do you need a bench for when you got 3 Hall of Famers on the floor?
You need a bench for? You need a bench on any team.
You didn't need a bench. You made it to the finals your first year.
You need a bench on every single team. Like on every.
Honestly, that team assembled.
Here's the crazy thing
it's not top 3.
You
then I don't know what is. But ever assembled.
You just
assemble it. Come on.
You just said, what do you need a bench for? Because you have top 3 players. You need a bench because you need a bench anywhere you go. Like, you need a bench anywhere on any team. The Warriors didn't have a bench this year was one of the reasons why they lost. Yes, KD was injured and Clay got injured, but they needed a bench this year. That was one thing everyone said this year. I mean, well, last year when they were in the finals, that was one thing everyone critiqued them on, that they didn't have the same bench that they had the previous years.
Let me just say this. I don't believe it. I don't believe in their coach. That's what I'm gonna say. Let me say that.
Regardless if you believe in their coach or not, every single year that they won the championship, what did they have? A bench, right? They had a bench, right? They had Iguodala coming off the bench. They had Barbosa coming off the bench. They had Spates coming off the bench. Like, they had a bench on every single year that they had.
Who was on their bench first? Don't make me go look up this roster. Don't you better not look at this roster and somebody good was on that bench, because this is gonna be the end of that conversation.
We can both
go look up this roster.
Oh, on the Warriors bench? Or are you talking about on the what's called bench?
What was it? 2011?
Yeah. And if you say somebody was good on their bench, there wasn't. I promise you, we're gonna have a problem because they had no bench. If you say Udonis Haslem or Ilgauskas because they're on their bench, we're gonna have a problem. If you say Mike Bibby, who wasn't good at the time, was on their bench, we're gonna have a problem. You say Juwan Howard, who hasn't been good in the NBA since his first 3 years, we're gonna have a problem. So please don't say none of those names. So before you actually read it,
this is the names I am gonna say. I'm going to say Ilgauskas. I'm going to say Eddie House. Hold on. Let me finish. I'm going to say Ilgauskas. I'm going to say Eddie House. I'm going to say Mike Bibby. I'm going to say Jerry Stackhouse, who are all good role players. I'm also going to say Mike Miller. All of these guys are role players.
You want to know me point?
They are all good role players.
So that's wait.
I ain't trying to hear it.
Hold on. So you said Ilgauskas, right? In 2011.
Ilgauskas coming off the bench.
Coming off the bench.
That means he only getting about 15 to 20 minutes, which is about all he can play anyway.
You know he retired the next year because he wasn't that good. You know Jerry had. You know Jerry Stackhouse averaged 1 point that season, right? Who else did you say?
Mike Bibby.
You know Mike Bibby only averaged 6 points that year.
That's all you get off the bench. Let's get that out of the way. Eddie House, who 2 years ago was almost a 6-man candidate. 2 years before that.
Okay, and like I said,
Boston.
Once again, you know that was Eddie House's last year when he was averaging 5 points. But these are good players off the bench. Huh?
Yes, these are good players off the bench.
These are good players off the bench.
Give me another one. Mike Miller.
These are good. Mike Miller wasn't good when he was with them. That year. That year he wasn't good. I can tell you this right now. He averaged 5 points. Come on, man. You're not about to sit here and
just named 20 points coming off the bench.
You're not about to sit here.
Not to mention the 80 coming from my 3 Hall of Famers.
You're not about to sit here.
That's 100 points a game.
People on this show believe, but these are good bench players. You're not about to sit here.
They good enough. They good enough.
No, it's not. Iguodala has literally stopped playing after that year because he wasn't good. Jerry Stack stopped playing defensively. Wasn't good. He averaged literally 2 points. Mike Miller was injured almost the whole year and literally had back.
I don't even know who started. Did Udonis Haslem start?
Yeah, he started. What are you gonna say? Udonis Haslem was a good bench player, averaging what?
I'm talking about defense. You got to also count on the defense too. Don't forget about the defense.
So you want me to believe he's a bench?
I'm telling you right now, you are reaching. Talking about LeBron was inexperienced. You are reaching. All right? And I know that's the Ohio in you, so you got to take up for your boy. I'm going to give you that. But inexperienced?
If you knew me, you know that I don't like LeBron. If you knew me true.
It would sound like calling him inexperienced.
I'm telling you he was inexperienced in that final.
So wait a minute. So now you're telling me that Udonis Haslem and D-Wade was inexperienced too then?
No, they won a championship already. They knew how to win.
Oh, wait. They both went to a finals before, but yet, because they won one and he lost one, they got more experience than him.
Do you see a difference? They knew how to win. They just knew how to win. You have to know how to win. He wasn't a winner. They were winners.
You know what he wasn't?
That's the truth.
He wasn't going to do nothing with Larry Bird. That's what the end result of all this is, all right? Larry Bird would have killed him, would have killed Durant.
He would get 50 dropped on his head. 50.
I wish what you call was just a little bit taller. Just a little bit taller.
50 dropped on his head.
What's his name? My favorite boy, Luka Doncic. I wish Luka Doncic was just a little bit taller. He would kill him right now, boy.
Luka Doncic is too slow if you haven't noticed.
He don't play defense.
That's the reason. Part of the reason why, because he's too slow to play defense against these people in the NBA.
All right, well, let me read these. Oh, these comments going up on you, boy. Chad making excuses for LeBron. The Mavericks won that finals in 6 games. The Heat was in game after game. The 2018 Cavs had a bench, which I thought had no chemistry, but they made it to the finals. Okay, the last time they won, forgot what year that was. Donovan said, how was it inexperience when you are playing with a super team, all in which their big 3 players were all in their prime? Preach. Not to mention they were playing with Dwayne Wade, who already won a championship. Preach.
I don't want to hear nothing from him. Kobe and them lost with Karl Malone and Gary Payton. I guess that was still. I guess that was still good players too. Karl Malone that year, huh?
There's your experience, Chad. You're killing me, Smalls. Yes, he is. Chadwick, obviously, none of them were good enough to beat the Mavericks. Thank you. Chad, you're making too many excuses. Chad has been making excuses this last statement. I love it because I'm eating him alive in these comments. Chad, you are full of it. Larry Bird would have killed them. I don't care what you say. Larry Bird would have killed both of them. And listen, Larry Bird's number 1. Larry Bird would have killed both of them.
He's number 1.
He's number 1. He's number 1 in small forwards.
So let me ask you this: you put Larry Bird on that Cavs team with the team that they had. The team
I bet they win one of them games
in 2007.
You talking about that Cavs team where they
wouldn't even
make nobody when they got rid of Kyrie and all that?
No, I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about in 2007. They wouldn't even made it to the finals with Larry Bird.
In 2007, they would have made it to the finals with Larry Bird. Larry Bird would have beat the Detroit Pistons as he's done before.
They wouldn't have
beaten a better Detroit Pistons team before.
They wouldn't have.
He would have beat the Detroit Pistons.
They wouldn't have. You know the reason why? Larry Bird's passing skills he did not get people involved like LeBron.
That was one of the reasons why he was MVP. Larry Bird got people involved. You need to go back and watch Larry Bird.
I know Larry Bird did, but we're gonna sit.
You watch the 3-point shot.
Wait. We're gonna sit and act like Larry Bird was a better passer than LeBron. Is that what you're telling me?
No, that's not what I said. I said Larry Bird can pass the ball and get people involved.
So let me ask you this. So hold on, wait. Let me ask you this. Are we gonna sit here and act like that Larry Bird can drive like LeBron? Because I'm making a point right here. So just go ahead and say no.
He doesn't drive like LeBron. Okay, but you know one thing that he does do? He can win better than LeBron.
Wait, hold on.
He can will his team to a win better than LeBron.
Let me make my point here. The reason why the Cavaliers beat the Detroit Pistons that year is because they were so worried about LeBron driving the ball. They were so worried about him driving the ball because that man is too strong that it left their teammates open for 3-pointers. They left them open because they weren't worried about other people on that team. He drove and dumped dish. That's literally was LeBron's game in 2007 to beat the Pistons. Drive and dish. Drive and dish. Hold on. If I'm not worried about Larry Bird driving the ball, because I'm not worried about this. Tayshaun Prince, I'm okay with him guarding him driving the ball. Yeah, Larry Bird can shoot. I get it. He's automatic. But I'm not worried about him driving the ball. You're going to have to beat me by yourself. And I'm not letting one man beat me by myself. Because in any of his championships that Larry Bird won, he's never won by himself because he's played with 6 Hall of Famers. Literally.
Guys, he made Hall of Famers.
No, he didn't. He didn't make anyone a Hall of Famer.
You don't think he made Dennis Johnson a Hall of Famer?
He didn't make anybody Hall of Famer.
You don't think he made Dennis Johnson? So Dennis Johnson was just that good?
Dennis Johnson might be the only one.
Okay.
Bill Walton was already going to be a Hall of Famer.
He didn't make nobody a Hall of Famer yet. I named Dennis Johnson. Okay.
So one person. I'm sorry.
Mikal already had skill, but a lot of people don't know is Mikal didn't even start. Mikal was going to be a Hall of Famer regardless. Who was their center?
He was going to be a Hall of Famer too.
Parrish was
going to be a Hall of Famer too.
But Parrish was old.
Bill Walton was a Hall of Famer too already because he won a championship.
Bill Walton, wait.
He won a championship and the MVP.
That was like the equivalent. Them getting Bill Walton was like the equivalent of the Golden State Warriors getting Andre Iguodala. Like,
it's not.
Yes.
Wait. If that's the equivalent, that's a great equivalent right there.
That was the equivalent of that.
I tell you, that's a great equivalent right there. Because if that's the case, Andre Iguodala was a Finals MVP. So obviously he put in work.
You know he did not deserve that Finals MVP.
He's a Finals MVP. So
how you get a Finals MVP for you supposed to be playing shutting down a guy? He averaged 40 points the whole series.
Yeah. Oh, but hold on. Who's that guy who averaged 40 points? Let me add.
That was LeBron.
Okay, just making sure. But hold on. So what
you take away that Finals MVP, they got the same equivalent.
Once again, put Larry Bird on that 2007 team. They don't win a championship at all. They don't go to the championship. I meant to say they didn't win it because the Spurs swept them. They don't even go there. The Pistons win.
Let me break this down to you. In this era that they re-revolutionized basketball. Oh, my fault. Donovan done said. No, Ramona done said it already. As of 2020, Bird is the only player to be named Rookie of the Year, Most Valuable Player of the Year, MVP, I should say, NBA Finals MVP, All-Star MVP, Coach of the Year, and Executive of the Year. Coach and executive, we ain't talking about. But let me see what Donovan said. Chad, basketball did exist before everyone had cell phones. These youngsters be killing me nowadays. Chad, in my Kellen Lane voice, do your research.
What I want you to tell me, Dennis, other than shooting,
is number one.
What is other than shooting?
To win is on a different level than
what other than shooting. What ability does he do better?
Up 3-1. That's another thing. Kevin Durant was up 3-1 on that team, and had Westbrook with him. Come on, come on with it.
Let me ask you this once again.
You want to talk about that bench too?
Other than shooting. What does he do better than him?
What does he do better than Kevin Durant?
What does he do better than LeBron? What does he do better other than shooting? You can't say
his will to win is better than LeBron.
Cut the BS. Because regardless of
that ain't BS.
Cut the BS. Because if you put him on
his road to the championship was harder than LeBron's road to the championship.
It's harder. It is harder going to the championship, but the teams he played here, they're not.
He had to go against the Philadelphia 76ers. Who that's another team that got about 4 Hall of Famers on their team. He had to go against the Detroit
Pistons. I'm not disagreeing with you. You said his road to the championship in the Eastern Conference was harder. I agree with you.
And the Western guy, he had to play against the Lakers.
I'm not going to disagree with. I'm not going to agree with that. When you play against the same Warriors team 4 times in a row, that I feel like that Warriors team would 9 times out of 10 either go to Game 7 with them or beat them. Then
another Hall of Famer to their team.
Like, once again, here's what I'm going to tell you. And this is why. I want you to think of this. Give me one thing, and don't say the will. True ability, the true ability of it, his physical and true ability. What is Larry Bird better than him?
Physical abilities? None of them. He has no physical abilities that's better than them.
So what I'm trying to what will he do? Hold on. So what I'm trying to tell you is the whole reason why the Cavs beat the Pistons that year is because he would drive and dish literally the whole entire game. If Larry Bird couldn't drive, which he wasn't that great at, I'm not saying he couldn't, but he wasn't that great at it, how do you expect them to beat them? Because he's not going to beat them by himself. That was never going to be the case. How do you expect them to beat them?
I'm going to tell you like this. When we go small forwards, it's Larry Bird, LeBron James,
answer my question.
Kevin Durant. All right, that's what it is.
Answer my question.
Listen, if they went into his era,
it's okay.
If they went to his era, they wouldn't have made it. If he went to their era, they wouldn't have made it. Okay, that's what I'm telling you. Now, physical ability. Now, I think because he's in this era, he would have been more physical. He would have been lifting weights more.
No, he wouldn't have. It would have been faster. You can't teach speed.
No, he wouldn't have been fast. I never said nothing about speed. Again, I never said nothing about speed. Speed is not always needed.
Speed is needed in this era.
Speed is not always needed in this era. The Dirk Nowitzki played this era. Speed is not always needed in this era, all right? That's for sure. Let me read the rest of these comments.
Speed is a lot in this era. I'll be honest with you. Go ahead and read the comments, though.
Ramona said that Larry Bird is a better rebounder than LeBron. I think it's about even.
It's even.
I think it's about even. And his stats that James is better at isn't by much. No, it's not by much. They about right up there. They're close to each other.
As you always say, it's an eye test, right?
Yeah, it's the eye test. I usually don't look at the stats. I usually look at the eye test. Some of these, and then you gotta mention the word clutch. Don't leave with me now, George. We're talking about the word clutch now.
Okay. What were we talking about here?
Well, because we only got like 2 more minutes to say this. So give me your clutch argument about LeBron.
I want to hear a clutch argument about Larry Bird.
No, you know Larry Bird is clutch. Ain't no argument about no Larry Bird.
How?
I want to hear your clutch argument for LeBron.
I mean, I want to hear your clutch argument. I mean, I can give you more. Okay. I'll put it as simple as this. Let's do this thing. This. I've already told you about the 3-1. LeBron came back from a 3-1 deficit. Larry Bird has never done that.
Wait. When he came back from that 3-1 deficit, did he hit the shot to win the game?
Doesn't matter if he hit the shot, but guess what? This is just that's just as bad. When I'm trying to get you to realize,
I think Uncle Drew hit that shot.
Oh, I was gonna get you to realize something too. This is the funny thing. Let's just go back, and I'll go to that point last. Let's go to this point. You know the game that we always say that Ray Allen saved them, and they were like.
I don't always say that, but I've heard people say
Hold on. Just bear with me because the fans don't know, you know. I mean, the fans don't know, you know, but, you know, a lot of people always say that Ray Allen saved them, right? You know, but we just seem to forget, you know, that in the fourth quarter alone, LeBron had 20 points, you know. He willed his team literally to that point, you know. He had 20 points in the fourth quarter. And then to go to overtime, what did he have, 8 or 10? So that means in the last quarter, and the last 2 quarters, he had 30 points. And
I'll give you that because when they knocked his headband off, he did go a little crazy. I'll give you that. That's one of the moments I will always say, you know.
But wait.
They knocked his headband off. No, I'm serious. Listen, if you ever talk to my brother Rashawn, shout out to Rashawn who runs the family show on Sundays. Him and Kellen Lane, they run the family show. Shout out to Kellen Lane and Rashawn Jackson. But we always would talk about, boy, when they knocked his headband off, he was a whole different LeBron.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? It was.
He was a whole different LeBron.
But hold on, but wait. You said Uncle Drew.
I'm going to let you give your last statement to this argument, and we got to move on because we got this love.
Yeah, for sure. So this last thing, you said Uncle Drew hit that shot. Now let's remember, though, the Warriors were up, or I think they were tied, and, you know, Iguodala made his defensive play, got a steal, driving down the court, you know, thought he had a free layup. Guess who was there? You know, in the last, you know, in that clutch play that led up to that shot. And that clutch play, guess who was there to block that shot who would have gave them, I think, a 4-point lead? Guess who was there, Dennis? Your boy, your savior, LeBron James. But that's not close to you, huh? Oh, okay. Well, that's not close to you, huh? But hey, I guess, you know, that he didn't will his team a victory to it. He wasn't a main focal point in the 3-1 in that 3-1 lead. But I guess, you know, I don't know. They didn't lean on that man's back. Like that man wasn't a leader of that team. I don't know. I don't even like LeBron, but hey, you know, here it is.
You don't. Yeah, yes, you do. But let's get into the next subject because we gotta keep it going.
That's fine. Yep. Greatest finals moment. Give me it real quick.
Greatest finals moment? Yep. Allen Iverson stepping over Tyronn Lue. That's me being a homer.
Yeah. It was
so amazing to see us win that game.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I got to give one to Big Shot Bob when he was on San Antonio. when everybody thought he was gonna shoot the three and he went up and dunked it. What was another finals? That finals, Lakers Celtics,
That was
2010, all 7 games. Amazing.
yeah, that was a good one.
Amazing. That was probably was the best finals I've seen. Dirk Nowitzki going against the Miami Heat when he everybody thought he was gonna shoot and he went in for the layup because usually he would take that elbow shot, but he didn't take it. He went in for the layup. Ended up beating Miami Heat. What was another one? Another great finals moment. LeBron coming back 3-1 was another one. Uncle Drew hit that big shot.
You don't hate it because it sounded like you was about to.
Uncle Drew hitting that big shot was a good one. Klay Thompson last year in the finals, right before he got injured.
Yeah.
Oh man, he like he's about to wheel that team back to a win.
I 100% that he was. I think he was. Okay. I give you some of mine. That Ray Allen shot. Even I rewatched the game. I told you about like maybe 2 months ago when quarantine. Maybe it might have been 3 months ago when quarantine started. And that shot was just beautiful. Like the whole sequence of plays was beautiful. You had Chris Bosh get the rebound, pass it out to Ray Allen, step back to the 3-pointer, and then swish. Like it was beautiful. As a Heat fan, that just made me so happy. It made me so happy. Give you one more Heat. Give you one more Heat moment. D Wade winning his first title was just beautiful against the Dallas Mavericks. His finals run that he had right there was ridiculous, like absolutely ridiculous that he had. I think he was averaging 33 points. I think that series, yeah, he was on a tear for sure. So that was a good one right there. Seeing the Lakers, seeing Kobe win his first championship without LeBron, without Shaq was huge for me. I'm a big Kobe fan, so seeing that was huge. 3-1, as I told you, that 3-1 was beautiful. Like it was a masterpiece.
Another one that was for me when the Warriors won their first championship, and every player went to Mark Jackson and thanked him.
And thank Mark Jackson. Yep.
Every player went to Mark Jackson and thanked him. That was beautiful.
Another one for me. I'm a really big old Bad Boys Detroit Pistons fan. So seeing the Detroit Pistons, back, watching them and get their win against getting past Larry Bird and getting past Magic Johnson to get their 2 championships back to back. I mean, watching that, like just looking at that team was amazing.
I have to agree with that. I think one of them, Isaiah, when I joined on a broke ankle.
Yep. No. They lost that series. But they lost that series, and it was a year after that they won.
Ramona said Jordan coming back 4 straight against Magic and company to win in the finals. I think that was his first finals win, too.
Yeah, that was, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So what time is it? We have one more topic real quick before we leave.
Hold on. Somebody said something in the chat. Okay. As far as LeBron coming back 3-1, as Marcus Betts would say, you don't get credit for putting out fires that you started.
That team was 73-9. Like, it's a fire that's hard to stop.
Yeah. 1986, Bird leading the Celtics over the Rockets in Game 6. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Good one.
Not to mention Larry Bird can fight, too. Let me get that out the way. We don't condone fighting on the FCC airwaves.
I say, like, all right, real quick. So, Carmelo, Chris Webber, Charles Barkley, rank them pure talent-wise, though. Actually, not pure talent. Rank them.
I'm about to say, if I just rank them It's Barkley, Malone, Weber. If I rank them, who do I think had the biggest impact? I think Chris Webber had the bigger impact in Sacramento than Charles Barkley had in Phoenix, and then Karl Malone had in Utah. Only reason I say that because Sacramento was probably about to be moved to another city. Because nobody was talking about Sacramento. I mean, they had Mitch Richmond at one point, but nobody was talking about Sacramento. Like, and when Chris Webber got there and White Chocolate, Vlade Divac, and they played basketball the way it is played today. Like
I guess
that's one of that. Honestly, that was team basketball back then. Like they used to do stuff in college schools. Like they used to huddle up, and I love that Sacramento team, man.
I know you do.
That's what it is. I love that Sacramento.
You love Chris Webber, so I know you do.
Yeah, I love Chris Webber, man. Chris Webber, cool, man.
Yeah, you always advocate for that man to get in the Hall of Fame.
He's supposed to be in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, I'm not gonna disagree with you. Like I said, he's won more playoff games than Tracy McGrady. So, right. If I was ranking him, I would put Charles 1, obviously. But Charles 1, undersized big man who was literally just great for his time. 2, I'll pick Karl Malone, even though I'm just not a big. I have personal reasons why I don't like Karl Malone. And then 3, Chris Webber.
All right. Well, listen, any closing statements you got?
Yeah, y'all stop hating on LeBron, man.
Stop hating on his.
Stop hating on y'all Lord and basketball savior LeBron James. One day, LeBron's not going to be playing anymore, and when he does lead his league, you're going to be very, very sad because you will have nothing to look forward to when you come to the season. Because whether you like it or not, if you come in, you hate LeBron, you don't want to see him see him get another championship, or you see him wanting to get another championship. So one of these days, you're gonna see LeBron walk off this court. He's gonna be it's gonna be his last time playing. He's gonna be sad. Enjoy greatness while it's happening.